Filthy Talk, a Filthy Lots weekly live panel discussion show. We're coming to you live from North Vancouver on the traditional territories of the Squamish Nation. We'd like to recognize the privilege to work, play, and create on these beautiful lands. We encourage you at home to comment in the chat. If you're live on Twitch, get on the live chat. If you're watching us on YouTube after the fact, comment underneath the video. Comments below with what traditional territories you are watching from. If you don't know, look it up. Learn a little bit about the land you're living on. And yeah, I'm Trevor Gemma. This is Roz Young. And joining us for the first time as referee, although not wearing the ref shirt, she took it off. Oh, she's holding it. Is Ash Turner, usually the captain of the Starship chat room. And I'm noticing that you have some interesting paint on you today.
Yeah, I couldn't be the captain of the Starship chat room, so I thought maybe I'd be a trill referee. It totally tracks.
A treferee, if you will.
A treferee? That sounds like someone saying my name with a weird sort of speech impediment.
A
Treferee. Okay, so normally we do a little thing at the beginning called Nerd News, where we discuss exciting news in the nerd realm.
But we haven't watched Black Widow, so.
Yeah, I mean, don't want to get spoilery on Loki, because you haven't seen a couple episodes.
I'm a bit behind.
It just came out last night, kind of rude to do. So we're actually going to skip Nerd News today, because today we are getting into the third edition of Nerd Fight! Fight! Happened? Did it happen? I don't know if it happened. So, we've done this twice. This is Nerd Fight 3. And, oh yeah, there's a little thing. Every time I say Nerd Fight, or anyone up here says Nerd Fight, Alex, our director in the booth, is going to play our Nerd Fight bumper, as you see there. I just said it a bunch of times, so I don't know how many times it's played. But, yeah, so this is the first time, though, that we have added some channel point redemptions. So in the channel point redemptions, if you follow us on Twitch, if you're watching this on YouTube,
enjoy.
It's just an explanation. You'll enjoy. If you want to get in on the fun next time, get on the live show on Twitch. But we have foul, so you, the audience, can call a foul. Actually, you've done some prep on this, Ash. Would you like to help explain this to the people at home?
Sure, yeah. So if you want to make the panelists switch their stance and argue the opposite of what they're currently arguing, you can redeem for switch stance, and they will switch. If you want to redeem giving them the business, I'll blow my whistle, and the chosen panelist can rant uninterrupted for 30 whole seconds. Foul means the panelist must be silent for 1 full minute. So that's a panelist of your choice. And then I'll give you guys the green flag if you've had to be silent, and you may now speak again.
Are we going to get the green flag to finish our rant as well?
Yeah.
Sweet. Okay, thanks. That'll be. You also have a whistle?
Yeah.
Okay. At the end of 30 seconds. Also, panelists, you know what? To explain this fully to the panelists, let's bring them out. So up first, he was here in the first Nerd Fight, and he did so well, we got to bring him back to defend. I mean, we didn't crown a champion, but he did really well. He's 6'4", and he's got a huge reach advantage. Fighting out of the red corner, Benjamin Murray.
just.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, he's got notes. He's prepped. I got some too.
Whoever has more notes wins, and then we can all go home.
It's just a notes competition. And he was on the last episode of Filthy Talk. He hasn't been in Nerd Fight. This is the first time. I mean, he's been in some Nerd Fights, but this is the first time on Nerd Fight. He's fighting. Oh my God. 5'10", at least on his license. It's Christopher Livingston.
Do this. It's gonna be good.
Yeah.
I also,
Okay.
for the very first time, have notes.
Oh damn.
On any Filthy Talk, I have never had notes.
That's crazy.
Serious.
I'm
That's amazing.
impressed.
I don't think I've ever seen you take a single D&D note.
No, that's just a rule.
The way that this works is each of us have brought what we consider a hot take on something from pop culture, typically. Usually we get into heated debates about things that don't really matter that much. Each of the panelists will start with Chris. We'll move on to Ben's, but you're gonna introduce what your hot take is, and then we're gonna get into it for, I don't know, 10, 15?
Yep.
So, without further ado, let's get into Nerd Fight.
All right, well then. So, my hot take. Okay, my hot take to start us off strong here is that Heath Ledger's Joker
Oh, you
is
bastard.
the best cinematic Joker that there is.
Have we got another guest in the wing? You switched it.
I did switch it. I did switch it.
being needlessly antagonistic.
Yes, well, a little
That's
bit.
the point of the show.
I mean, no,
Yeah,
it's true.
It is,
Yeah.
and yet I also really truly believe that I have some very solid points as to why I'm right.
I look forward to proving you wrong.
Yeah,
Okay. So,
Chris, give him the business.
oh.
in the business. All right, so
30 seconds.
this is why I think Heath Ledger's Joker is the #1 cinematic Joker of all Jokers. First of all, there is not just a single Joker. There are many Jokers and many depictions of the Joker. After his first creation in Batman #1 in 1940, the Joker was only depicted as a prankster and stuff like that because of the rules that were placed on comic books at the time, children's reading. And in the 1970s, the creator started moving away from that because he wanted to see a darker side to the Joker. And I'm going to read something here where it says, in Arkham Asylum, a serious house on serious earth, the Joker is described as capable of processing outside sensory information only by adapting to it. This enables him to create a new personality every day.
You can still keep talking.
Oh,
but they
okay.
can interrupt
Personality
you.
every day, depending on what would benefit him, and explains why, at different times, he is a mischievous clown or a psychopathic killer. My point behind that is there are definitely the Jokers that are playful, that are more about the laughter and the pranks and all of that, but there are Jokers that are just the psychopaths. And ultimately, it's a yin and yang situation between Batman being all about order and discipline, and the Joker representing chaos. And if the Joker represents chaos, no matter how you view it in any other state, I think the best version that's ever shown just a chaotic psychopath was Heath Ledger's Joker.
I don't know if I would slow clap it, but here you go.
Okay.
Oh.
No response for Trevor for 1 minute.
I actually kind of agree in the sense that I like the idea that you would be thinking about, is this the best Joker to go with the Batman for that movie? Because that's a really good match point, I think, there. Because, like, in Lego Batman, even, the idea that you would put with that Batman the right Joker. So you say that there's a bunch of different Jokers, and you need to pair it with the right Batman. I think against the Christian Bale Batman, good match.
And I would agree. And to a point, you know, his whole joke was the movie, and the punchline was the end, where he's strung up at the end and he believes he's put that Batman in a really hard place, and he's laughing maniacally all the way to his death. He's laughing. He can't handle it. And I would, you know, there's also currently, they say that there's 3 Jokers. And again, the whole point is that you don't know which Joker you're going to get. There's many depictions of him. I do believe that Joker is really just chaos.
Are you okay?
Okay. So I'm going to address your point about having the right Joker for the Batman. Yeah, it was the right Joker for the Batman because that was the shittiest Batman as well. You've got a Batman who can't detect anything. All he wants to do is just be a rich asshole who punches things.
He found the bullet in the
It's
brick.
Not true, actually.
He found that little bullet in the brick with the fingerprint. It was pretty clever.
Oh man, he's not the world's greatest detective at all.
No,
He
but-
needs Lucius to like hack everyone's cell phones. He needs Lucius to do everything for him, as opposed to
Switch it, Trevor.
yeah, you know. Oh my God, that Batman. I gotta say, Christian Bale just absolutely nailed it.
And it is the best Joker. Come on, you can say it. It's the best Joker.
Yeah, I can't actually.
The whole way.
You got to switch it, man.
Yeah. Well, the only thing that I had been saying so far was countering this. So yeah, you know what? You're wrong. That Joker was not the perfect Joker for that Batman. In fact, that Batman shouldn't have had a Joker at all. that was supposed to be grounded in reality. And that was the whole thesis statement of Christopher Nolan's Batman trilogy was
So,
what
but
if
wait,
Batman really happened.
but then let's take that as your premise, and then I would say that is why that Joker is the perfect Joker for that Batman, because he's not wild about his toys and bringing out all the craziness and that. He's all about just chaos. And given that, I mean, the stealing all the money just to burn it, the blowing up the hospital, the way he really, everything that he did was about sowing chaos to undo the order that Batman was trying to bring to the city. That was purely his point.
And the idea that the character is trying to prove that no one's a better person than anyone else.
My stance is still switched. I can't argue.
And so, but that's why I would say it's
You know what? Okay, here's how I'll do it. Yeah, you're right. The Joker should just be a crazy person and then be called the Joker for no reason. Because why? Like, the name doesn't need to make sense. Why have someone who's the clown prince who laughs all the time? That's so stupid. You know what? Just have a psychopath who paints his face rather than have him be psychologically scarred. Because when he's psychologically scarred from basically dying and being reborn or whatever the mythos is, let's just give him a couple of slight scars.
Shut it, Trevor.
Wow.
Wait.
So here's the thing.
No, that can only be used once per person. Or did I make it?
4 times.
You didn't read your own fine print?
Yeah. Yeah.
No, they broke you. They broke you.
Here's what I will say though, is that there are many different Jokers though. There really are. And Jack Napier. Jack Napier was the original Joker. That was the one that got dunked in the acid and became, that's Jack Nicholson's. They say that that's the same one that was in the newest DC movies. I don't see it, but apparently that's who that is. But he was the one that was dunked and went psychotic because of the acid that he was dunked in. You have Jerome Valeska, who is later his twin brother, Jeremiah Valeska, became a Joker. That one's just more pure psychotic chaos, less on the jokes, less on the funny, but found jokes in what he was doing. And in fact, the entire, wrong one.
Too many notes.
Yeah, there are too many notes. But really, everything the Joker does is about things that make him laugh. It doesn't matter if anybody else finds it funny. And so when I look at how Heath Ledger played that and what he was doing, it was all about what was playing to him. And he plays the whole idea that you can't trust anything that comes out of his mouth because it's all about his joke, what's funny to him, and what's he trying to get across. I think he does that very, very well in that movie.
And he never needs to laugh, right? There's no point in laughing until the very end.
He does laugh. He laughs all the time.
Yeah,
in
he
that
laughs
movie.
like Tom Waits. He's like,
He doesn't laugh the way you want him to. He doesn't do the laugh you
Tom
like.
Waits would make
But
a
that doesn't mean he's not laughing.
I guarantee that's exactly his inspiration. He watched Tom Waits. He's like, that's it. I'm not gonna look at anybody.
He laughs all the time. He just doesn't laugh the way you want him to laugh.
Nope, that's not true.
What else do you love about Heath Ledger as the Joker?
You know what my favorite part about Heath Ledger is? He's dead.
Oh, that's. Come on. Come on. That's not fair.
Upset. He's just
Hey, it was funny
upset,
to me.
Internet. He's just upset.
I agree with the Joker should laugh to himself. Things are funny to him. He's supposed to have a warped sense of humor. Like firing a bazooka at a SWAT vehicle would make him laugh.
And I knew you'd bring that up, that particular one. But, he also laughs while he's driving the truck into the other.
There's like 3 instances where he laughs in that. And the Joker doesn't need to laugh because
only got
the
like
name
14
should be
minutes.
a misnomer. Because my stance is still switched.
Yeah.
He's having a hard time.
What I find interesting is that the only part that you struggle with is that it's not the depiction of the Joker that you like the most. But even in the comics, there are many depictions of the Joker.
Sure.
So-
Oh man, can I switch my stance back? I should have put a timer on it.
Some of the problem is that people loved that version and that movie. Let's be honest, the people who loved that movie are kind of annoying.
Yes.
Yes.
Full stop. 100%. I'll agree with that to the end of time.
And the way they went on about it as though it was, a landmark cinema achievement.
Yes.
Also wrong.
Yes.
So
It's Heat. It's just Heat. Just go watch Heat. You've seen this movie.
So I'm
Ben, give him the business.
Oh, I mean, Dark Knight is Heat. He's admitted it. He watched Heat, and he's like, that's a great movie. Michael Mann really killed it. I'm going to do the exact same thing with Batman and Joker instead of Pacino and De Niro. It works. It's a great cop movie. It's a questionable Batman movie. He kind of threw out everything that was interesting about Batman Begins and like the landscape and like all his ninja stuff, and he's just like, nah, I'm just going to do Heat. And it works as Heat 2, but at the end of the day, it's just Heat 2.
Well, okay, your earlier point. I'm abandoning the switch stance.
We can do that?
I show my rules. The Batman 1 thing,
Yeah.
where he was just a prankster because of kid rules, he also got shot with a gun at the end of that because Batman in the beginning was just a guy who shot people with a gun. He was a vigilante who just went further than the cops can.
But that was what the creator even said. Like, he said that in 2004, the creator of the Joker.
He was alive in 2004.
Or maybe, I think so. It was
Don't
at a
trust
conference.
That old man, he's gone senile.
Yeah.
But I mean, this is very strongly, whoever created the Joker in what, 1940?
1940.
That character has gone through so many iterations.
Wow.
And I mean, if we're looking at golden era, like golden age comics, that era was crap. Like, the storytelling was terrible, and it wasn't until all those comics evolved drastically that the storylines got really interesting.
Did you
and the
like
characters
Batman smiling while he punched guys? That's great.
It's super weird. But like the characters became way more engaging and interesting way later, decades later. Yeah, Ash, what's up?
I just want to let you know that you're over 15 minutes in if you want to get through 4 topics.
Okay, sure.
No,
It's too hot.
No.
Too hot button.
Oh, well, crap. Now I forgot where I was going. Damn you, Ash.
The characters became more interesting over time.
Yes, and
So, but even to that point then, just to make a final point on what I would say about this, but is that, I think given what the creator said, given that he is meant to be the opposing force to Batman's discipline and order, he's just an agent of chaos. Yes, he's named the Joker. Yes, it's all about his playfulness, but it's playfulness that he himself only needs to find funny, which means he could be the most chaotic psychopath in the world and find it funny.
sure,
And,
but it's not just the funny stuff. It's characteristics of the Joker and not like whatever origin story. He's always a master at fucking chemistry. Like, the Joker toxin became something that was synonymous with that character, that was never introduced there, that it was just a matter of like, you want to know how I got these scars? Like, who gives a shit? Like, you got cut in the face, whatever.
So do you consider Heath or Joaquin the same shit, where it's like, he's just a skinny guy who gyrates in front of his mom?
I haven't seen that.
Oh, that's fair.
But for a different reason. I think that movie makes a movie that we wrote previously moot, and I fear that, so I didn't watch the movie.
Who's your favorite
Who's my favorite?
cinematic Joker?
Cinematic would be Nicholson. I thought that he got the oh my God, what's the word? The state of mind the best.
You didn't think he just was Jack Nicholson?
But interestingly, though, he's not a master chemist in any way, shape, or form.
But
he does use the he uses the toxin that made him the Joker, and he just
He
pulls
uses
that out of the
Smilex
thing.
gas, and he's actually like killing
Yeah.
people with the smile on it, like.
And I get
making
that.
He has a fascination. The Joker's one of his most interesting characteristics that stuck for decades was that he's becomes completely insane about putting his
Chris.
face on.
I have to
everything.
switch?
Yep.
Good timing.
Well, I think we're out of time here.
So if it wasn't Heath for your last statement, then.
Mark Hamill's, I think, the person who got it the best.
But like,
Yeah, I
you gotta
mean-
change your stance on the way out here. Who is the best cinematic Joker?
Are we including animated there? Yeah, oh
What
God,
kind
no.
of- Animated? Animated movies?
Animated movies?
Then it's Hamill.
Then
right?
it's got to be Hamill.
But
If it's not,
it's live action.
then it would have to be Jack Nicholson.
That's
'cause
default,
he's
though.
He's the runner-up. Like, there's
Some people
no.
out there might be arguing that Jared Leto is a good.
No, nobody should be arguing that.
He is.
Anybody that's arguing that.
100%.
Anybody that's arguing that Jared Leto is the best Joker
Jared
is just
Leto
a
is
moron.
absolutely running around saying he was the best Joker.
Oh, that there's a person out there and it's
Yes.
him. Oh.
Yeah. He 100% is telling everybody, he's like, I fucking killed that role.
Let's move on to the next round of
But I was
Nerd
right,
Fight.
right? I was right?
Yeah,
Okay, cool. I just want to make sure I was right.
That's how this
No.
works.
Yeah.
God, no.
Yeah, there's a right.
That's so heavily penalized. That was awful. You build your own.
Thank you, everybody. All right.
So, next on Nerd Fight,
Yeah.
Bye.
Ben, what is your hot take?
That the MCU Spider-Man is the worst on-screen depiction of Spider-Man.
Oh, God.
He is not relatable. He is a billionaire's playboy. He's essentially watching the story of Donald Trump Jr.
Wait, what?
That's not a thing.
This motherfucker doesn't get anything done without Tony Stark being like, here you go, kid. Keep trying. He's like,
not
I'll
true.
do my best, sir. He is completely unrelatable in all the reasons why people love Spider-Man.
There's so many things you just said that are wrong.
Okay, where is he relatable in the sense that, does he have rent problems? No. Everyone wants to fuck his goddamn aunt. That's relatable. Love that.
Ben's got a hot eye, apparently.
Yeah. But
Hi, Susie.
what high school goes on a Europe trip?
Actually, many high schools do.
Get out of here. He's
Many
supposed to be
high
a
schools
poor
do.
kid from Queens, and he's going on an
I went to an
all-expensive...
East Van public school.
You guys are
There was
privileged.
a European trip. I didn't get to go, couldn't afford it. But there
Exactly. That would be Parker. He would be at home and being like, God damn, everyone got to go but me. Guess I'll go kick Rhino's ass or some shit again.
Yeah,
He
that's
would
probably
not be
true.
going.
But that was after he was already Tony Stark's little laptop.
Yeah, that's exactly why he shouldn't be. It's like watching fucking a Robin movie. Tony Stark is Batman, and Robin,
However-
he's a little pet project. He's like, here you go, kid, keep trying. Take up my mantle, because Kevin Feige has no plan after Robert Downey Jr.
You see,
leaves.
this is what's interesting, though, because that is actually far truer to the comics, is the idea that, so Spider-Man goes through a really interesting journey where, yes, he does a lot of things on his own, but he follows Tony Stark all the way up into Civil War. He follows him right down the line, even to revealing his own identity, which he swore he'd never do, right? Because he is all about Tony Stark, and he's all about...
No one read those books. I can't explain this. No one read those Spider-Man books after 90s because it was like, I hate clone Spider-Man, I hate old man Spider-Man, I hate reboot Ultimate Spider-Man. God damn it, I wish he just was a relatable kid who had fucking problems
Okay, so
again.
you want... Wait, but he was a kid with problems.
What
Yeah.
problems does he have in those movies?
He's-
Other than, God damn, I wish I could have everything.
So wait, are you
That's
upset
relatable.
because you didn't see the spider bite in the origin story?
No,
Because
he
I'm
has.
glad we skipped that.
He has zero guilt over Ben's death. I don't care about the origin story, but he.
Ben.
Oh. Okay, ready.
Oh, he's ready. Nice.
He is by far the most entertaining Spider-Man. He's full of quips. They actually wrote a character that's funny rather than sitting around and being like, we're going to focus on his problems and we're going to focus on the teenage drama.
Yes.
The biggest issue with it, though, is that they don't go far enough. But, God, how great
Wait,
would
what
it
do you
be?
mean by far enough? Like with the way he would react from.
I think this
like in a
Spider-Man
fight,
needs more
mid-fight?
problems. We need more villains in this movie. The problem is that he only deals with one villain at a time, and it's usually related to Tony Stark somehow. This is a Tony Stark.
We've seen.
We've
What have we seen Vulture and then Mysterio.
Yes, and both of those guys were former Stark people that midway through the movie became Peter villains.
Yeah.
It would be great to see someone who actually hated Peter and had a focus on
We'll
Peter the whole
probably
time.
get that.
I mean-
Yeah, and the movie that we finally will see him in New York. Thank God we'll actually spend a whole movie with Spider-Man in New York.
Okay, but the other side of that is...
Remember, he's the best.
Yeah, now
No, he
the,
is.
the other side of that is
He's
that
great
they-
in other locations. Who else could kill
Yeah, but-
Spider-Man in Washington?
you have to also take into account the reality of everything we've seen so far.
Yes,
So we've already
unfortunately.
seen 5 movies that took place in New York with Spider-Man.
Yeah.
We've also
Correct.
seen that the moment you try to do more than you get into too many villains, which I agree, Spider-Man tends to always take on a couple of different people at the same time, but cinematically it almost never works.
No.
Yeah, it's
and-
about to happen though with the next Spider-Man. We've got 3
Yeah.
Spider-Man.
in a universe where they made Civil War.
Ben.
Okay, in a universe where Marvel made Civil War has how many villains? There's at least 4 different villains in that movie. There's Zemo, there's the Leaper at the Balrog at the beginning. They set up Winter Soldier for a little bit. Like there's a ton of villains and they handle it perfectly fine. The problem is that Marvel is too afraid to go down the same path that the other movies do and try and separate themselves. They're worried that if they keep doing the same things, that people won't tune in, rather than being like, Spider-Man, everybody's gonna watch this shit. It's goddamn Spider-Man. They're never not gonna get a crowd.
Okay. Quick foul on your part, Ash. That one is limit one per panelist for the whole show. For giving them the business, so
Nobody told me that.
it's in the description.
Nobody told her that still.
It's my failing then, and foul on me.
I printed this off of your email, and it says, given him the business, chosen panelist rants interrupted for 30 seconds.
That was your email.
No, it's signed here, Trevor Gemma.
Oh, shoot.
Oh, she's thinking of the business.
Damn. But
I didn't read that email.
hold on, we're coming up against two things here.
Okay.
Which is that
What's happening?
you can make a point about this particular, series of Spider-Man movies, and then, it doesn't take place in New York yet, and all these other things. However, the other side of that is, we've seen 5 movies that led up to this that kind of got a little boring in the fact that they wouldn't go do anything else. They didn't go beyond Spider-Man.
Do better. Just do better.
So
Just do fucking better.
Holland is so delightfully charming.
Yeah.
As this version of
Yeah,
Spider-Man.
we can't discount that we've seen him 4 times. We've seen him in
Yes,
Civil War, and we've seen him in
He's
Avengers.
adorable. When he sings Rihanna, it's goddamn
no,
adorable.
I
It's the best version of the Umbrella song.
Like the movie thing, like
Yes.
the giving him that was great, like because
Yeah.
it lent something to the age they're going with, the current climate, and adapting Spider-Man's like quips and fast talking and to a relatable sort of like all the like old movie thing with like wrapping up Ant-Man. That was hilarious.
All of this works for Homecoming. Far From Home is straight trash, though. It just does the same steps over and over and over again and doesn't evolve the character any. He literally is the same character at the start of that movie with more Tony Stark guilt. They just replaced Ben with Tony, and it's really weird.
So, wait. But if he's missing the guilt of Uncle Ben,
Yeah.
why do you have a problem with him having guilt of Tony being dead?
Because
isn't
the
that
guilt
an
is completely
interesting
separate.
twist?
Actually, I'll give this one to you. The only reason the guilt exists for the Tony Stark thing is so they could set up that piece at the end of Endgame. That was the only reason that they did it.
And it's frustrating because Ben's guilt is very
No, but
important to
didn't
who
have
he
the
is
guilt
as a
so far from
character.
home.
No, but I meant one sets up the other. I said that backwards. But it's like just his whole thing is about the Tony Stark thing, which felt really superficial and very, I don't know why he cares. I totally understand that he's obsessed with Tony Stark and that's his mentor
That's
and all that
fine.
other stuff. But when he sits there and he's all, when he disappears in Infinity Gauntlet, he's the only one for some reason that takes that long to disappear.
Yeah.
Which made no sense to me.
Yeah, that was
And
trash.
again, they're setting that up, and then you get him at the end
Made
at
me cry,
Endgame,
though.
and he's crying over Tony Stark, and I'm just like, how are you this close? Like, how do you care this much about this person? Because we just haven't established that link, other than he's
And
I mean,
with replacing Ben with Tony, you've taken out the reason why he is Spider-Man. He's Spider-Man because he had the ability to stop Ben.
Yeah.
And he just fucking didn't. He was like, not my fucking problem, man. And now he's stuck with that guilt for the rest of his life. If he says no to anything, another Uncle Ben is gonna die for some poor kid. And he doesn't want them to go through that. Tony doesn't give that guilt because he's not directly responsible for any of this shit, and he was already Spider-Man.
I walked on you earlier, and you were about to make a point. I'm sorry.
That's okay. No.
What was
it's
it?
Nerd fight. It's crazy. I don't even know what the point was anymore.
Oh, okay.
I'm so confused. I love this version of Spider-Man.
yeah.
But I actually don't disagree with you on the Spider-Man's life is supposed to be continuously hard. for
Yes.
him.
He's
And
never
he-
struggling.
Right? And you're right. He does have a pretty great apartment. He's a teenager. He has usual teenage problems. And is the problem more what the audience interprets as a difficult life than it is, you know what I mean? Have times just changed that the audience for the Avengers movies is a pretty comfortable audience, and maybe relatable for them is problems like.
Money is never not a relatable problem. That moment in, I think it's 2, where he tries to give Aunt May the money and she won't take it because she knows how far $20 goes.
Wait, in which?
In Raimi's. And like
Raimi's too?
yeah.
Okay.
That's the key element to Spider-Man. The fact that she's like, Aunt May is trying to get this kid to help because she knows $20 is $200 to him.
I think that as soon as they decided to go with the Tony Stark thing, that they couldn't give him money troubles.
That
because he could have been like,
removes
wow, we're really not getting by, Mr. Billionaire, and he'd be like, okay.
Exactly, and that removes
But
such an
then they did it
important element.
They did it in Falcon and Winter Soldier, where he can't even go to the bank and get a loan.
Yeah,
That is
was
stupid.
so
That's what I hated
stupid.
so
That's
much
just because
about
he's
that
black,
show.
obviously. That's the only conclusion you could come from for that.
It's like making it about the people, like all the people who got blipped away can't get loans and shit. I was like, especially in Avenger, it's like just call up Pepper. I don't care if Tony's dead. Call up Pepper and be like, hey, my like
She was
sister's
nicer than
house.
Tony.
Yeah.
She
Yeah.
probably
Yeah.
would have taken care of this already.
She would have already made that plan. That's
Yeah.
how good Pepper is.
Pepper's really good.
Yeah.
She would have been like, "Oh, you showed up. Here's the package I prepared."
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
here's the one thing I'll say. He is still my favorite Spider-Man to date. You're not wrong about some of the points you brought up at all. But the other thing you're coming up against here, which is really difficult, and this is, no matter what, I don't care, is real hindsight, looking at something after the fact is really easy to judge everything. But stringing together all of those movies and trying to build a bigger universe where they're interconnecting
Yes.
people in that way is a very difficult thing to do.
Yes.
And so,
yes.
in that way, trying to interconnect Spider-Man into the Avengers with Tony Stark, and even as much as I think it was very superficial, the caring of Tony Stark and all that other stuff, I do understand what they were going for. I don't think they achieved it, but I understand what they were going for. But that, to me, is where they ran into the problems that you're describing, because those were the things they tried to bring together, and that is a difficult thing to achieve. And yet, Tom Holland's portrayal of Peter Parker as a character, as an individual, as Spider-Man, I think he portrays Spider-Man
So
brilliantly.
we've talked about the first Spider-Man and the third Spider-Man. Does anybody
Do we need to
care
talk about the third Spider-Man?
There's a great moment. There's a couple of great moments in the Garfield movies. They're not
Yeah.
good movies,
I really like Garfield.
but there's a couple of great moments that Holland doesn't get as a character. And it's not his fault. It's just the way he's written. And there's a moment where Flash like bullies him or something, and Garfield's post Spider-Man at this point, and he just shoves him up against the locker and lifts him way up. And instead of beating the Christ out of him, he has that moment of realizing, he's like, Jesus, this is exactly what Ben was telling me. And he breaks down and starts crying in front of Flash, and then he books it. That kind of like honesty and humility is never going to be present in the MCU, because they're terrified of having people have like feelings while they watch their movies, because the moment they do it, somebody would be like, what a pussy, and then they would just walk away because they have to undercut
wait,
pathos.
you're talking about the audience having feelings or the characters having feelings?
The audience. The Marvel filmmakers are terrified of letting a moment linger in sadness or drama for too long before having somebody undercut it with a little bit of like, well, it's not so sad. Like Ragnarok is a perfect example. Rather than blowing up the planet and letting us live in this sadness, what do we get? We get Korg being like, well, we could have foundations, we could blow it up. Like, they always try to like make sure that we don't feel too much, because they want kids to not cry at the theaters. They want people to come back, and it does undercut their characters because they don't let them feel
I mean, what about
superhuman.
Infinity War, the end of Infinity War.
And it's the only moment people fucking bring up where they're like, we killed them all. And it's like, it was very sad. We all secretly knew they were coming back, but it was all very sad.
What about the moment when Ant-Man comes back after like 5 years missing and kind of meets his
daughter
in
for-
Endgame, his grown-up
How
daughter?
long is that scene?
That scene's a couple minutes
No,
long.
it is not.
Yes,
That's like
it
a
is.
50. He walks up to the dog. He's like, I miss you, Dad. I miss you too. And then they cut right from it because Marvel has 3 hours and they got to get it all shit
Well, I
in.
mean, how much longer do you need that scene to
That's
be?
exactly what I said. They were afraid to let a moment play out because they got runtime
That
commitments.
moment played out. They understood in each other's fucking gaze once she knew it was him, and they just in that embrace. I cried. Did you not?
No, not that.
Well, you are a cold bastard.
Yeah. You need to play that moment a little bit out. You need to like actually make me understand who they were as people, not be like, it's been 5 years, and it's like, yeah, 5 years is rough. Like that's literally how quick it
Is that
was.
because you're not in touch with your own emotions to like empathize
100%.
with the moment?
That's 100% what it is.
Because like I can put myself in that place and imagine both of their instances in that moment. Be like she lost her dad, and she's now getting her dad back, and she's going through 5 years of thinking her dad was dead, and in that moment he's back, and he's going through this like, oh my God, I missed 5 years of her life, and I got that in both of
And
those
then we
performances.
cut to Professor Hulk.
So
Which I love, by the way.
It just completely undercuts that moment. It's like, and then we cut to jokey Fat Hulk now, and he's just like, I don't punch anybody anymore. Here, kid, here's an autograph. Tacos. Like, it's just such an undercut moment. Like, it's just not. You could have done something so much more with it.
Time restrictions are one thing, so certainly that makes it difficult.
Speaking of time restrictions.
Yeah. Are we? But I will say that, that to me is where the benefits of the Disney series, especially Falcon and Winter Soldier, was so great because they dive into the idea of what was really going on in the 5 years and why it was so difficult and the effects it had.
You could have
on
made your
people.
hot take. Falcon and Winter Soldier was so great.
Yeah. Hey, listen, I think there's a lot of good aspects to it, but we'll do that for next time.
Oh my
but
God.
it's that. But my point more is that they were just in. If there's one takeaway from it, it was that they were focusing on the villains are.
Chris?
Okay, so coming up next on Nerd Fight, Roz, what is your hot take?
Luckily, this will be fast because everyone on the internet will agree with me. Everyone's going to agree that, across all...
Everyone on the internet's going to agree.
Everyone on the internet's going to agree. Hello, internet. Prepare to agree with me. All
Any
across
magic beans?
all of Star Wars media. Everything that's canon, legends, all of those things. They reference that there are over 20 million sentient species. And the best of all of them are the Ewoks. So, they are the best and the most awesome. They are lovers. They are fighters. They are fluffy teddy bear carnivores.
Yeah.
Introduced in the 1983. Shaking things.
okay.
Because he needs to agree with me about how great they are. Introduced in Return of the Jedi. And I read an article today as someone else was walking past me as I was preparing my cards, titled "They are the most tactically advanced fighting force in all of Star Wars." That is correct. Everyone else in all those movies is just bad at war.
Sorry, wait.
Tactically, yes.
Right?
Yeah.
They use deception, ambush. They have psychological battle techniques.
Traps.
They use their ground obstacles to their advantage and their natural terrain. They are able to overwhelm and defeat a much technologically superior force with ease.
Thanks to the screenwriter.
I don't think so in this case. I think they actually do it.
Yeah.
Fucking
I mean,
bears.
they are, exactly.
Who gives a shit? Have you ever fought a bear? I bet you.
I could punt every one of those fucking things.
You would think that, and you go to kick it, and it would grab your leg, and you'd be like, oh shit, and then it would fucking hold
There'd be
Pelosi
three
you.
more of them all over you.
I don't think they're that strong, but
Maybe the bigger ones.
They don't need to be there.
Bears are strong as fuck.
clever.
So in
but
this
they're not
world where this
bears.
thing's grabbing my leg,
They're little
why
teddy
can I not just pull its goddamn eyes
Because
out?
it would never let that happen.
Because
Unless
the
it was a trap.
Because the other one would know that you were going
Exactly.
to punt it, and it's going to come
Exactly.
out of the tree on a little fucking wing device.
Things are made to sell. They're
drop
toys.
a rock on your head that
So
you
what would
can't
happen
even lift.
if you'd be like, I'm about to punt this one. Ha ha ha. Look over, clever girl. That would be exactly the
Yeah.
moment. That's exactly the
They
moment.
are clever as fuck.
to play devil's advocate a little bit.
Nope. Go.
The only thing I will say is, just like in the new series, they were very much the characters introduced to sell toys. So, like that is very much what the Ewoks were. That doesn't mean that I didn't love them as a
Everything about
child.
Everything was made
Were
to
they
sell.
cute? Yes. Were they originally supposed to be Wookiees and that was supposed to be the home planet of Kashyyyk? Yes. But
Which would have been way cooler.
No.
Like, how can you even argue it? 8-foot giant apes ripping arms
Yeah, but
off
that's-
everywhere they go?
But that's why it's a little less feasible that there could be an occupation
Why?
of the Empire.
Then you don't write it as an
occupying
occupation, you
Kashyyyk.
write it as they're
Because
showing up.
Kashyyyk is well known and part of the galactic
And they get
Senate
defeated.
and everything.
They get completely defeated
all-
by the Empire.
it's all
The only
nonsense. You
people
can
that the
change that shit
Empire
with a
couldn't
fucking pen.
defeat Were the
It's
Ewoks.
all nonsense.
That's amazing.
Yeah, the
It's
Ewoks
amazing.
also by making them smaller, like bears, essentially. I mean, Wookiees are just sort of Sasquatch.
I mean, they were Care Bears.
No,
exactly it.
they were
Care
little
Bears
savages,
would eat
little
people.
freaking carnivores.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and they didn't just, they were using traps from the first moment we met them. They wrapped all of those guys up in a
Yay?
little meat trap. They
Yeah.
outsmarted a Wookiee immediately, proving that
that's
it was
fair.
better to be the Ewoks than to be the Wookiee.
No, they didn't. A screenwriter said, we got to make these things cool, so we sell toys. They have to outsmart our toughest thing.
Everything.
that
And
appealed
these
to
are still-
Chewie.
These are right. All the things in Star Wars that they did right, They nailed it with the Ewoks.
They
and
did.
They made lots of other mistakes.
Yeah.
Lots of other things.
They're
bad.
also an amazing allegory for like overcoming a tyrannical government, like the super base
I mean, okay,
masses against.
here's the only thing I have to say to this, is that
Fuck those creatures.
I like the Ewoks, so I'm going to state that
love
first.
them.
However,
Right, 'cause they are awesome.
they whip rocks at what should be intergalactic soldiers wearing armor that it should be like a rock should
They're
do
bad.
nothing to them.
Are you kidding me? Of
The
course, a rock
Empire
would do
is
something.
bad at war.
That armor
old-
doesn't deflect
They're
physics.
bad at everything.
All right, wait.
It doesn't deflect anything.
It's supposed to deflect. I mean, their armor is shit.
Their armor's pointless.
And
They
they
get
can't hit
shot
anything
with a
with a
blaster
blaster.
rifle, and it always kills them. One shot.
Roz.
Give
I
me
get to
business.
give them the business. Okay, so not only are they amazing at war, there are other things about the Ewoks that make them fantastic. They are deeply spiritual. We meet their religious leader in the episode.
Chief
they
Chirpa.
have culture. They're amazing. Yeah, Chief Chirpa, but they also have Logray the Shaman.
Oh yeah.
So they meet all these characters to prove that not only are they a race capable of outsmarting the entirety of the Empire, who are useless when they get into any sorts of combat, but they also have legends. They claim that they are descendants of the Great Tree. Beautiful. They live in harmony with nature. That's amazing. They are the legend. They have the legend of the Golden One. Great Tree. Where they think that they see C-3PO, and then they think that if
He's
they
God.
pray to him, everything's gonna happen. That is amazing. What the story development of those characters in those moments for Star Wars is fantastic. Not only that, but they have music. Amazing. They have festivals. They have parties. Those guys know how to have a jam. The Empire goes down, and they throw a party that is amazing. And then not only do they eat those stormtrooper bodies, but then they use their helmets for part of their culture and their music. That is fucking
Do they eat them?
They.
Wait,
100%
just-
they eat them. They were gonna eat Leia when they found her.
Just one
And not only
fucking
that,
question.
They were able to make her dress in like 10 minutes.
One question.
Are we allowed to?
How
talk yet?
old
Okay.
were all of you when you goddamn saw them first time?
I was in the womb.
The first time you saw them, you were in the womb.
My mom
know, I
went
was
pregnant.
eight.
I was born in '83, so she went to Return of the Jedi while pregnant with me.
Yep,
I-
okay.
Yep.
I think I was.
I would have been a kid, yes,
Yep.
small. I still love them, but I was a kid when I saw other parts of Star Wars.
And
I was like, that's dope.
as we've all known our entire lives, children are stupid. And this is just a fact. And people get nostalgic for things
But
they
there
loved
are
as
kids-
children.
There are kids who saw the new
Are
ones
there
and they're like,
suck.
Jar
kids
Jar
that
Binks is
love
the best.
porgs?
Yes, and they're
Porgs are
stupid.
amazing.
No one loved Jar Jar.
Actually,
one
no,
loved
that's not
porgs.
true. You're wrong there.
They sold
But-
tons of merch.
Hold on, wait, Ash, what are you gonna say?
Oh, it's complicated.
So we've
Deep
had
into
two
it.
of these. One of them I'm going to ask later, but we also have redeemed an Ask Us Almost Anything.
Oh, what is it?
Tangible audio, which is how is we made this to sell toys different than we need this movie to make money, which is the entire purpose of all movies that cost more than $1 million.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
that's
solid. Yeah.
Totally a fair point.
Yeah.
However, just to what you said last, it's a very fair point.
Vastly
But we were just talking about this before we came on, because there is a whole generation now that loves Jar Jar, right? Because they saw Jar Jar as a kid.
They love him.
They love him.
They-
It's becoming a bigger thing, and the
You should
original
reach out to
trilogy.
Ahmed Best, who has had
The original
a real
trilogy
hard
is
time.
becoming
Yeah.
a far more prominent series because the generation that were children that saw it at that time loved it as children, and so it means more to them
Because they're fucking dumb.
than it does to us because we saw it as adults and we were like, this is garbage.
Kids in the 80s didn't see the Ewoks and they were like, ooh, I think that's racially insensitive.
No, they just saw
And then they
cool
love
teddy
them
bears.
now. That's not the
I'm
case.
going to back up your point with another example of why the Ewoks are awesome is because
Go on.
they were made in that original trilogy and, given an indecipherable language as opposed to just a bunch of stupid aliens at a casino wearing Earth black tie that were
Trevor.
speaking English.
Yeah,
Teddy
those
bears
Ewoks.
suck.
However,
Teddy bears are horrible. They give people bad ideas of bears, and they make them go into the woods and think bears are
Doesn't-
approachable.
to pick up where Trevor was living off, however, I will say that
Thank you.
that the new trilogy is utter trash. Other than capturing the aesthetic and feel of the original movies, that is about it. And they do so many things wrong that I think the original Star Wars did right, which was stuff like the languages and just, yeah, some people understand it. Like Han understands Chewie, and that's great. Not everybody understands that, and that's okay. And one of the things I liked about it more than Star Trek, where everybody just speaks fucking English.
All that
And-
shit that you hate about the sequels and the prequels and the spin-offs and the cartoons and
You're
the
gonna say
holiday
it's
special.
nostalgia? You're gonna say
All
it's just
that
because it's
fucking
nostalgia?
shit came from Ewoks. They're the goddamn
they're the
beginning of the
best.
goddamn
Because
end.
They're the greatest.
No, it's
And
this. It's Fonzie jumping the shark.
If Ewoks are
it
good,
is
It's not that. It's not that.
No, they're fucking terrible. You all
Fonzie
grew up with
jumping
this.
The shark was freaking Anakin riding the stupid thing, and that's how they fell in love.
No, Ewoks. They're 3-foot
No,
bears.
that was
You
terrible.
think they're cute?
I
They're not.
truly,
They're
deeply
dumb
love
fucking
you.
bears. If the Empire slaughtered them, that's a great movie.
well, okay. So
But we don't get to
honestly,
see them get
I
slaughtered,
Because they were too fucking crafty.
which is
for them.
lame.
Yes, but if the,
Some of them died.
they're very lucky. that
Yeah, I
the-
want more.
Stand down. They are very lucky that the Empire did go down because I do feel like we have historical examples of. There's lots of examples of like the English were taking over the world. They were technologically superior. They went to New Zealand, figured they could just like conquer everybody, and they have epic losses there. Places in Africa.
Ooh, I have a thing to back this up, which
Yeah,
is kind of interesting.
epic losses, and they went in with what they thought was like, well, we're technologically superior, we're going to be just fine. But no, because people who know the land, know their area,
Yes.
and have weapons, even if they're made of like hide shields and just spears.
The
they can
indigenous
do it
tribes of
against
North
them.
America were fighting against people on muskets, but people with muskets. But the people had to get off their horses, and they got off their horses to load their muskets. Meanwhile, the indigenous tribes are shooting like bow and arrow from horseback, so they're mobile and
So,
fucking them
but,
up.
But yeah,
How did that
in a lot of
story
those-
end?
wait, exactly. In a lot
Pretty
of those
sure they
cases-
lost.
In a lot of those cases,
Yeah, but
they
there
come
wasn't-
back and they defeat everybody. But
There wasn't.
But the Empire
horribly,
lost
but we
because
don't
of
watch.
that movement, though.
We also don't watch movies so that we can see our own horrible bullshit constantly.
But
Especially in a long time ago, galaxy far, far away.
A New Hope and Empire absolutely give you an idea that this is going to be a franchise that isn't going to be for children. There is nothing children-like about those first two. They are just
why are the Ewoks
family.
for children?
They are
Just because they're
family-friendly, all
They
ages
eat
films.
people.
The
The
droids
Ewoks are
were in
meant for
Jawas.
5-year-olds.
They're
5-year-old entertainment. No over 10 was going, I love the fucking Ewoks. Like,
See,
they
no,
were
but you know what
admitting
is
to
funny is
themselves-
at that point we need somebody who saw it, who was an adult when it first came out. Like we saw Jar Jar and we were like, this is stupid.
Yeah.
But there's a generation of people who now love it because they saw it as children. So we need somebody.
I didn't hate him
If
that
is anybody in the chat, if there's anybody out there who's older,
No,
Have
on the
to do with
level
a lot
that you
here.
hate Ewoks,
Adults?
I hated the Porgs. But they served.
They do nothing in the story.
They did nothing. They served no purpose.
Yeah.
Whereas the Ewoks fully fucking did.
So if they
Also
wrote
awesome.
side
Why
characters
wouldn't
into the
there be
movie
cute
more.
little, like,
they're in the Millennium Falcon while it's flying
chickens all around.
Ben,
Oh, what I like Ewoks?
Yeah.
They're a great display of movie wizardry. Don't we love how great props and practical aesthetics can actually
I
be
forgot that
on
I had a
cinema?
switch
The best part about the Ewoks is you can really see, I believe it's the Henson Company's attention to detail. But, you know, at the end of the day, the biggest problem with them is that we don't get enough of them.
I concur, Ben.
Yes. And on that
We're
note,
so lucky.
let us move forward onto the final topic of
See?
Nerd Fight.
The internet agrees. Go on.
Okay.
right.
We've only got 13 minutes left, and I prepared a statement. Oh.
Nerd fight.
Opening statement. The introduction of the internet has ruined the video game industry. Developers used to release finished products and now rely on patches after the fact. The emphasis has become on chasing release sales, selling DLC, which previously would have just been part of the game, selling loot boxes and cosmetics instead of just building a fully realized game. Online multiplayer has destroyed couch co-op and social gaming. Online deathmatch gaming has because of the internet has become a huge focus for developers and has harbored a toxic environment where people spew hate speech and profanity and hide behind the veil of anonymity.
Well, you're partly right.
Yeah.
It's mostly the kids' fault, though.
Ruined-
Fuck those kids.
You just have. You know what? They can't have Ewoks. They can't have games.
The thing is, okay,
Better not seen or heard.
You would raise your child like Buster Bluth.
Yes.
You must not be saying
What is wrong with this? This kid is quiet. He doesn't speak up. He does whatever you tell him. If you put that kid on the right path, you could get that kid to be anything.
Yeah.
It's like you love cancer research. It's like that's all you focus on. You focus on fixing brains. That
Buster
kid would be.
Bluth?
Yes. Are you kidding? He has one drive to please mom and dad. If you gave that kid the ultimate goal, yes. If you gave that kid the ultimate goal and the tools to succeed like the family could do.
Okay, wait.
Just a living Oedipus
I
complex.
still
Exactly.
We're
But
distracting.
you
We're
could get
distracting.
so
But
much out
to
of
get-
that.
to get to the point.
We're gonna talk about
Video
this.
games.
I need your definition of ruined because that seems really
Okay,
intense.
definitely not financially because they are
Figuring
scraping in the
ever.
money largely due to things like
Children.
the internet making them being able to sell loot boxes where they can just be like, hey, spend money. This is gambling now.
Yeah.
If you might get something that'll help you be better than everyone else. Like, so they're raking in the cash. So
Yeah.
they're more successful than ever, but the quality of games has gone down, and they release things like Cyberpunk that the whole world goes, this is a fucking joke. We waited 10 years for this, and they release broken games. It's encouraged the worst behavior. AAA gaming is at an all-time horrible state because they don't give a shit. They just want to, they need to follow through on that
You're
release date
saying
and get your
because-
money.
because they can patch.
Yeah, so they just release things.
Yeah.
And it's not just that. It's that the internet allows like all of the gaming culture toxic shit that people hate is because of online. I never had that problem when, hey, you want to come over and play fucking GoldenEye on the
Someone
N64?
came over and went, "You're on, bro."
Yeah, it's not like, I mean, maybe my friend was telling me that I eat dicks, but then I can tell him he eats dicks. He's right there. I can punch him in the arm. Like,
However, it has
Nothing
opened
wrong
up
with
certain
eating
things. There is another side to this. The
Yeah.
internet has not ruined video gaming. It has absolutely inspired corruption.
yes.
So I'll give you that. But it hasn't ruined video game. Like one DLC wouldn't. You can't say DLC is a problem that it would have been part of the original game. No, it wouldn't have been.
No,
it would have been another video game.
It either would have been part of the game. No, but like they make games super short now. It used to be that you got a game and you got
Certainly-
Like, I used to get 99 hours of gameplay, and then the save file would just not count higher. And you got so much game for the initial purchase. And now they're like, just release this much, and then this stuff that we've already got going, we'll release in 3 months.
And you
3
know
months
what?
after that.
I will say again, the corruption aspect has absolutely led to that.
That's
However,
people. That's
for
people,
a
not the
large
internet.
yeah, in a large period of time there though, that wasn't the case. And I loved getting a full game and then DLC, and that carried me over until the next game. I was really excited about it.
Sure, if they're doing sequels, but it's also bred things that are games as a service, where you've got just a game where they just add little bits into the world and expect you to keep paying
Yeah.
over and over and over and over.
No, you're right. Again, the corruption aspect, I cannot argue
But
that.
again, that's people,
can't.
not the internet. Like it's not the internet's fault.
No, that's company.
No, but
No, I'm not saying the internet shouldn't exist. I'm saying that the internet ruined the gaming industry.
And
the
there's
availability of it.
There's no way to not be like old man yelling at kids, but for the fact is,
That's just your whole shtick tonight.
our generation was better. It just fucking was, and these kids don't get to enjoy it.
Well, except
and
that-
sucks to be them.
Here's the one thing though.
But gaming is more social than ever.
Who cares? Fuck people.
But to that point, that matters because you know what? Yeah, it kind of ruined couch co-op. I'm not saying like, and there are now developers pushing games that are couch co-op to try to bring that back, and I'm really thankful for that. But as adults, as people who go like our generation that grew up playing couch co-op, when we all went off and lived our lives, and so we can't do that anymore. I can't just like. My brother lives on the other side of the country. I can't just run over and play a game with him, but I can jump online and we can meet in a world and play together.
Sure, but I mean, you're playing together, but you're not really having as fulsome a conversation as if you just gave him a call.
Yeah, and you're
Actually,
overrating
my brother
people.
and I, that's like our thing. We sit down, we play a
but
game
if
together,
I
and
was
we.
having a phone call with someone and I'm playing a video game, I'm not exactly having a proper conversation. I'm
No, but
distracted.
we're okay.
And the very
Except that
nature of
like
it
we
is
get into a
distracting.
world together, and we start playing. We're playing a game together. Hey man, you go do this. I'm gonna like we're on an adventure together, in a world that we like that's what we're doing. Like that's our thing. That's how
sure.
we connect. So we have phone calls and we catch up on what's going on in the world and what's up with mom and
virtual
dad.
couch co-op.
But
It's
it's
really nice.
yeah, we get to join each other, and we wouldn't be able to do that without that.
It also might have been an inspiration for you if you couldn't do that to maybe go see your brother in person more often.
Pandemic.
Well, for the last year and a half, you have that argument, but not for the last 10, 15 years.
Yeah, I mean, I get back as often as I can, but I also have to work. I gotta, we work in the
sure.
film industry. It's fucking it's a nightmare.
Yeah, sure, but film industry, I mean, we're a different situation. Film industry, typically you get some time off, you go back, and hey, you want to play some video games? It's been a while.
Not here though. Never.
It's also not rare anymore.
You guys
It's
are
not
just
special.
overrating how much other people are enjoyable. The old games you could just sit around and play by yourself. Now they design games where you have to be with other people.
Well, there's fewer.
that I agree with.
There's
It's like, I don't want to be with other people.
Yeah, there's a lot of games you have to be with other people. There's also fewer solo games. There's fewer games that are really good single-player games with really good stories. At least really good lengthy stories, because you got to wait for the DLC.
Yep, because they're like,
If
well,
it's not
we
broken.
can't make really good money off of solo, because like, what are we gonna do? Change skins? It's like nobody will pay for that shit. But online, where you can show off your skins, then it's a whole different story. And that's the biggest problem. Is every game that I come across, it's either completely story player, like single player, and it's a lot of fun, or it's all multiplayer, and it's like, well, this isn't built for me. I guess I'm an old man, and just put it fucking away.
Do you say it like that?
Oh, every fucking time. You just hear Mel just like, God, he's just a bitch and just walking around middling.
Not for me.
Yeah, say it's not for me. It's fucking old man.
What?
No.
What?
What?
I just feel like there's your age and your perception of your place and what you can participate and enjoy in. You define that.
Yes.
Yes, but you're saying
I don't
that
want a 12-year-old yelling.
But there are great
No one
single-player
wants
games.
12-year-olds
though.
yelling
Many
at
of them.
Few and
Cheese
far
Puff,
between.
number whatever you
And they're
were
broken when they first
yelling
come
at me
out.
in Battlefront, you were really mean.
Not always.
It wasn't nice. I don't like that either all the time, but there's something about social gaming. Some of my best experiences
Minecraft.
gaming will be our Minecraft server.
Our Minecraft
So
server. How
beautiful.
much fun did we have on
Yeah,
that
but
together?
then we don't see each other. Like if we could do that in the same room, that we would actually be able to practice real social
But let me ask you this though: why,
Real
why does it
social
have to
skills.
happen in the same room? What is different about that in that moment? Like, one, I enjoy being at home and being able to jump up and grab something from my fridge and like do whatever and jump online. But at the same time, hear everything you guys are saying and the fun of like what's going on and jumping
If
in
we
that
did it on
world.
the internet, I couldn't have made a giant chicken at your place.
You couldn't have hit a giant chicken that you
Full of
filled with
chickens with Trevor.
chickens.
And then convince Shannon to open it.
Yeah.
Trevor.
DLC is great. More games for cheaper than a sequel, usually faster than having to wait for a sequel. And couch co-op was limited to like 2 controllers or 4 eventually. And couch co-op, it's a thing of the past. I like being at home. I like being able to, like everything you just said. I love being at home, being able to play with my friend, play with my brother, play with whoever, play with people around the world. I've made friends from around the world that I never would have made.
This is true, actually.
And with MMOs, you're not limited to 4 people. Like Minecraft, like you're saying, you can play with like 30 people. It's crazy. Like you can make all these
You don't
friends.
have that many friends.
So many more friends.
Exactly.
And distance isn't a hurdle. Competitive gaming is at an all-time high. Now you can actually be a professional gamer.
Which I
Thanks.
told you, Mom. I told you.
We have a show coming up about it.
Professional
I split my
gaming.
own stand.
But it's true. And a lot of the points you just made are true. Like honestly, the downside to couch co-op is it's limited in number of people that can play. We wouldn't be able to have the same amount of people on a game that we do.
Good.
Good.
And you're just like your actual friends over.
Yes, real people.
Yeah, but I
And
like
you don't
hanging out
wanna
with.
play video games with them.
No,
Yeah, but the
watch
thing is-
me tell you what I think. That's basically what I do.
How different is it though, playing video games at home? If the 4 of us came over to my place to play video games together,
We should
right?
play Golden.
We're all still just sitting in front of a TV playing video games
Yeah.
together. Versus, come on over for a barbecue, which is what I want when I want to hang out with my friends.
The one thing I will say for in-person things versus online, like fighting games, like Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter, that kind
Yeah.
of thing. I used to love in-person tournaments as opposed to playing online with people who are going to be
Oh,
way better
fuck
than
that
me.
shit.
How
Like
else do you
ruling
rub
the
it in their
group of
face
friends.
when you win? Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really you're just like you suck, but
Yeah.
in person you can be like you suck.
Yeah.
And admittedly, I way prefer online games where it's co-op and it's more like going on an adventure together than I do. Like I am terrible at Call of Duty or any of the any of those kinds of games. Anything where I can die, I will die over and over and over again and be killed by some 10-year-old from Japan who just yells at me over and over again in a language I can't
I
understand.
usually
But-
get American kids that spew racial slurs,
Ugh.
which is the awful thing about the internet.
Yeah.
Really,
I usually no, I'm not going to talk about what they do.
Yeah, I can't imagine as a woman what you get.
There is absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
But
It's rude.
ultimately, there's absolutely a downside. 100%. You are right. And AAA gaming companies have lost the plot. All right, they don't know what they're doing anymore, and it's a real problem. And that is because of the greed that they're capable of achieving through the internet and online gaming.
Oh, it became
But
the
the other
biggest
side of that
industry in
is
entertainment.
it opened up certain aspects. The people you've met online, and I know for a fact you've made a lot of friends online that you wouldn't have met around the world playing games online.
Sure. I also got death threats.
Okay, sure,
What-
but
but
you've done a lot of
But
stupid
you
things.
love streaming on Twitch. You love interactive gaming on Twitch.
This is true.
The
This
look
is.
on your face on your birthday when your channel got just filled with people.
It was amazing.
It was amazing.
It was super great.
It was
Yeah, I know. I totally just chose a topic so I could argue both
But
sides of it.
it's a good topic because you're not wrong.
Yeah.
That
I do think that
some
it
of the
did ruin a
opportunities
lot of
available
things.
because of the internet are some of the biggest problems with gaming right now.
Yeah.
It just introduced children to the whole aspect, and that's the worst part of it.
What we
Man,
need.
calm down, okay? They're
More
just tiny
Ewoks.
humans.
They have no place until they're 18.
But I,
Can't just lock them all up. We have to teach them to be responsible.
It's not my
Ash.
job.
Passionate.
That's somebody else's job, thankfully.
Ash has got her hand up.
I'm sorry that this took me a little bit of a while, but you guys were fighting and I didn't want to put it in at that point.
It's Nerd Fight.
J-Dabs has redeemed Ask Us Almost Anything.
Oh, J-Dabs,
Wants
what's
to
up, Johnny?
know If there is any excitement between you guys for the What If series that's coming to Disney Plus.
Oh,
Animated.
yes.
Marvel.
Yeah.
I mean, there is. Just because it's going to be fun and they've got all the voice talent from. I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be the last thing we see from Chadwick as Black Panther. So
He's
that's going to
Star-Lord.
be
You're right.
emotional.
He's not
You know
Black
what it
Panther, he's
doesn't have?
Star-Lord.
It doesn't have
He's
Ewoks.
Star-Lord now.
Chadwick is Star Lord.
That's like the what if. I don't know what the actual
That's the
episode is.
what
Oh,
if.
in that, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, but it's the last thing we're going to see from
But
Chadwick.
of the actor.
Yeah. But he's playing
Is
Star-Lord.
it still T'Challa as Star Lord?
Fuck if I
No,
know.
I think it's
For
it's
kids,
the what
probably.
if he
Ben
was.
has
It's a
no
cartoon.
idea.
I don't pay attention to this shit.
But,
But you totally.
But I
watch-
am
you
excited
watch
for
Harley
it.
Quinn.
I think it's a
Talked
really
about
interesting
how-
idea.
Harley Quinn is very tough.
I hope that they do as good a job as DC has done with animated stuff.
Yeah.
That's where I guess I'm a little nervous about it because the Marvel animated stuff hasn't been anywhere near as good as their live action, whereas DC's way better at the animated.
It's been like a decade, though, hasn't it, since they put out anything animated? It's been a while.
Who,
Wow.
Marvel?
Yeah.
Into the
No, there was the
Spider-Verse?
Guardians series.
Yeah, Into the
There's the
Spider-Verse.
new.
Oh,
Which?
oh,
Into
that
the
Disney. Yeah,
Spider-Verse?
I forget that Disney XD exists because it's for children.
Yeah.
But there was a Guardian show.
They're just small humans, but they're fine.
The Guardian show is okay.
I don't like them that much
Guardian
either.
was good.
but I have
There's
to defend
a
them here.
stop
Holy
motion
moly.
MODOK where MODOK is voiced by Patton
Which is
Oswalt.
fantastic. I have seen that.
But it's animated. It's for children.
Yeah, if they swear, I'll watch it. I just need a little bit of like, yeah, fuck you.
Just an edge.
Just a little bit, just something. If I watch too much kid stuff, I'll be like, kids are all right.
This would be better
You
if
don't
there
want
was.
to
I mean,
start liking them?
No,
Here's
God,
what I
no.
will say though, to answer that question is, yes, I am excited for the show, but mostly because Disney has been on point when it comes to everything they've been doing
Yeah.
on Disney Plus for that kind of stuff.
And don't you
They've
hate
been
that
nailing
a
it.
little bit?
I mean,
Sorry?
Don't you hate it a little bit? How much they're nailing it?
A little bit. I mean,
Nailing it.
Well, they
we're
were
getting way
nailing
off
it-
topic here, but Disney.
But they were nailing it before it was Disney. They were nailing it as Marvel, and then Disney just. I mean,
Yeah.
Disney's just.
Except
buy
that, like,
anything.
except
They
that
put it all in
Disney,
one place so we don't have to leave our house.
Disney Plus has done it.
Yes,
They've
thank
done
you,
it right.
pirates.
They've done it really well. As far as those shows are coming out, I mean, Netflix had a huge opportunity when it came to the superhero stuff, and they botched it. And I'm not saying all of it's bad, but most of it's bad. And it's
PBS.
just, you know, there's a lot wrong there. But yeah, and I think that now Disney is the one to beat. In
Yeah.
fact, not even beat. It's just who can come in
Unattainable.
second. Yeah.
I think I'm excited for What If, just because there's some like zany shit that goes on, and there's no consequences. They can
But-
do whatever they want, and they don't have to make it's not canon. It's just whatever. Although I wonder.
I should preface this by saying I'm really not a fan of Disney, but I
Oh.
I can applaud what they're doing.
I love Disney. It'd be cool if
most
they took.
Disney's a terrible company,
Because
and I'll
they're
say that
going-
out
We won't
loud.
because
see
they're
him
going
by the
into
end of the show.
multiverse, it would be interesting if they take some of the What If stuff. And if it goes really well animated, they, because of the multiverse, realize it in live action. That would be cool. I'd be down
That's how
for
we
that.
got Ahsoka.
On a
Yeah.
different topic, do you
Okay.
have any interest at all for Black Widow? It's tomorrow, and I couldn't give
I thought it
less
was
of a shit.
today.
Even more reason why I don't give less of a shit.
I do have
Poor
interest.
Scarlet, but fuck, I don't care.
Basically, I'm excited to see Yelena Belova.
And
Because she's Black Widow too. We're watching a movie so we could see the next Black Widow. Isn't that sad?
That's not why. I just want to see that relationship. And also, I'm hoping that they've kept it a secret and that we're going to see Omega Red.
Yeah, I mean,
Really?
I don't have a lot
I haven't heard that shit. I think you really think they'll do that? They have Taskmaster.
I don't know that they're going to do that. I'm excited for Taskmaster. Actually, more excited for Taskmaster. I've lost my tongue. Jesus. I'm excited for Taskmaster.
Yeah.
He's a very cool villain, and he looks dope in the trailer. Like so.
But the trailer definitely shows another flying structure just crashing into some shit.
Yeah.
Are you not, like, is this not again where it's like, do you guys just literally do find replace for some of these scripts sometimes?
I think so. I think that they get stuck when they don't have a main character with actual superpowers.
That was my problem with Doctor Strange. It felt like Iron Man with find replace. They're just like, all right, well, just change some shit.
Hold on a second. Hold on a second.
Because we are out of time.
But Doctor Strange was a great movie.
Whoa, great?
Yes.
Yes.
Calm down, folks.
Yeah.
Calm
Whoa,
down.
buddy.
Children in it. There's nothing cute.
Yeah.
Don't you like, man?
And I saw this movie 8 years ago.
Ben,
Oh, fine.
Oh.
that wasn't actually a channel point redemption. That was just me.
Thank you guys for being here. This has been a lot of fun. Okay. Oh, quickly before we go, I have it somewhere. Next week we have on Tuesday on Twitch at 3:30. One Shot or Not. Alen Williams is our DM, and we are playing in Eberron. We're doing some D&D 5e Eberron, which, if you don't know it, it's like it's not. Is it steampunk? It's not really steampunk.
A little bit.
It's like technological
It's
mixed
like
with fantasy.
sci-fi fantasy.
Yeah, ish. It's not really like, yeah. It's a little steampunky, but not fully steampunk tropey. If you haven't seen it on our main channel, check out the first episode of On the Lot Road to Ready to Roll. It's a sneak peek at Ready to Roll, which is coming soon. And take a look. It's awesome, and we can't wait to show it to you and share it with you. We'll be back next Thursday.
Next week On the Lot, Nocturnes. And
sweet.
What's in Your Car episode 2?
Oh, What's in Your Car episode 2 is next week? Okay. Okay, that's it. See you next Thursday. Until next time, stay filthy.